day to everybody. Good day to everybody. Thank you for joining in this very unique conversation which we plan to have now. Very apt for what's happening around the world. And I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our key guest here, Mr. Vinod Sivam, who is the technology leader at the Aditya Birla Capital Group. Been working with him for the last couple of years, and a privilege to have him here, sir. He has had the extreme opportunity of moving away from a totally manual systems onto a completely digital platform. Worked with quite a bit of large financial institutions worldwide, has had the opportunity to bring in a lot of digital transformative initiatives and interventions to large banks and NBFCs and financial institutions worldwide. Have had the opportunity to work with him very closely, a very good combination of business and technology, and that drives him to really explore new things. Welcome, Vinod, to this exclusive session with you, and thank you for taking the time to be part of us. A very quick intro about yourself, sir, before I get started.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about what we have done. Greetings of the day to people from different regions. Let me start with my intro. Currently, I'm with Aditya Birla Capital. I head technology for engineering, data, and AI. And in my previous role, I was the CTO for Aditya Birla Capital Digital. Built the SuperApp for them, along with the Gavs. Working, prior to that, I was with Spandana Sporti as CTO. Then prior to that, with ICICI Bank as deputy CTO. Prior to that, with Accenture as principal consulting partner. And prior to that, with Stanchart. And before that, with Citi. So that's how my experience goes, all in tech. And worked primarily on all digital technologies right from 2001 onwards. For various banks and various banks all over the world, including BBVA, DBS, etc.
Very nice. Thank you, sir, and thank you for taking the time. I know you're in the middle of a large strategy discussions going on within your organization, and you took time for this. So sincere thanks. One thing, because I've been traveling even recently in the US, one thing which is coming across is everybody is talking about this whole digital transformation. And people have various views of what this digital transformation actually means. In your view, sir, what do you really think is the right definition or a right approach to consider yourself to do a digital transformation?
Okay. So, we will start with the digital transformation and then we'll go to the SuperApp as well. Why SuperApp is required in this scenario and all, right? Digital transformation, if you see, right, there are a few critical components are there, right? Once we need to understand the landscape. Okay, if you understand the landscape, then we will understand why it is required. Second is the business strategy and how and what we want to transform. Second, it is also about the culture change and communication, what it's going to the internal company and to the external customers, and how we want to see our customers, right? We have to use a different lens to see the customers after it's transformed digitally, right? And it also goes through process optimization and digital, ingredients, what kind of ingredients, what we're getting into that. And the next important point is the data curation. How do we cure the data and how do we supply the data to the transformed entities? And then what kind of digital technologies we'll implement, right? How it is going to go to the end customer, whether it is going to be via web or via the, apps or via the other systems like IoTs and all these things, right? Those things. The next important thing is the team. What kind of team we are going to use it. And next will be the technology and technology partners, what we are working with. And the final thing will be results, right? If you're not calibrating the results of the successful transformation, right, we will not be able to go to the next stage. We will not know where we stand. So we need to see the results, calibrate it accordingly, go from stage to stage, and then see how we are transforming into that, whole transformation piece. So, there's nothing called in final transformation or transformation done. It's always an ongoing journey, but we will measure wherever we are and we will figure it out how it is measured and what is success looking at that point of time. So these are the key components of a digital transformation strategy. Normally, this is how people perceive it in the industry.
Right. And typically, how do they measure that? How do they measure? What typical metrics are used to measure success of something which is a digital transformation initiative? What do you typically say that I've done digital transformation?
Okay. So if you see, the success, right, and the results, how it is strongly influencing the end customer. Okay, that is the first thing, right? The customer, is the customer happy, or is the customer understanding what we have done, or the customer, at least recognizing what we have done and how it is seen by him. So that is one thing, right? Second, how the internal teams are taking this, right? Is their work changed? Or are they doing things in a way that it is better now and earlier it was different? And have we brought an agility to the team, right? Which is the key critical success metric, in a customer centric strategy, right? So that's an important point. And second, tracking KPIs, metrics, on aggregating and normalizing data, what kind of dashboards will go into wherever, etc. So it's all right. I mean, finally, the end customer should say, whatever was earlier, now it is better. And customer is saying, team is saying, and there is a transformation. I mean, that is typically the transformation what we start with, right? And then the journey continues from there.
Right. And when you came across to apply that to Aditya Birla Capital, and especially when this whole digital organization was formed,
yeah,
was the need to move from paper to a paperless as a digital? Was it a need to bring in, say, easy access to the customer? What typically was the driver to initiate a digital platform for you?
Okay. See, SuperApp is a crucial thing for all the BFS industry, right? I mean, banking, financial service industry, because it allows seamless integration of various financial services into one single platform, providing users the convenient one-stop.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, I think so. Let me quickly check.
Yeah, we're able to hear you, sir. Please carry on.
Yeah, English. So, it's a single platform providing users with a convenient one-stop shop kind of an environment, right? So in that way, it manages it engages customer and creates loyalty to the app and to the way how digital is done, right? And customers may not have to switch between multiple apps. Say, example, earlier they might have used finance in a separate app, investments in a separate app, insurance in a separate app, wealth in a separate app. Now the need to use multiple apps is reduced, and everything comes into one single platform for them, right? The user experience is increased, and potentially it's a great driver for customer retention, right? I mean, say example, large conglomerates, right? See, go to this model. If you see the history of why how this came into the country, right? I mean, it's all started with China. Typically, WeChat and Alipay are the pioneers to this. And then in India, then Paytm came, then PhonePe came, and then bank apps came, right? And ours is one of the largest, super app now with the NBFCs. I don't think any other NBFCs have, such a large, super app like how we have with the rich functionality, more than 40 plus journeys, whatever we have. So it, key benefits, right? If you see unified access is one thing, right? I mean, that is one thing. Second is an improved customer experience. The customer might have seen, a website earlier or different parts of an app earlier. Now it's all improved customer experience, seamless interface, single sign-on, more intuitive user interface, user-friendly experience, what he gets, those things. Our next thing is a personalized service. He gets everything personal. This is personal to him, right? I mean, it starts with his name. It starts with his, all information powered by data, right? It's all kind of tailored information, recommendations offers to individual needs of the customer, right? And next point is the enhanced engagement, right? By providing a wider range of services within the app, right, the financial interactions, whatever the customer needs are all there. And second, it builds, it's easy to interact with the platform. The customer sees the platform as one single platform where he can interact. And second is it builds a strong customer loyalty. The customer may not go to other app because we also have payments also built into that, right? Like how everybody has the UPI platform is also there. That is also integrated with this. So the customer retention is a key point, and customer loyalty, offer engine, all these things are things. And next point is the cross-selling opportunity with what we have, in LOBs, like loans, investments, insurance, wealth, ABML with money and all these things. It's an absolute cross-selling opportunity for us, and easy to cross-sell and upsell there with the SuperApp. And the next important point is the data-driven insights to the customer. And second, the data from the customer what we derive, again it's pushed back to the customer in terms of an insight to the customer, in terms of recommendations, in terms of offers, in terms of personalized messages to the customers, personalized offerings to the customer. That's how the super apps, whatever we have built in the market, also trying to do different financial services, enabling better decisions to the customer.
Right. No, thank you. This is very useful to understand how people have to consider it. And at this stage, I just wanted to see there are a good amount of participants who have joined in for this webinar. Thank you for taking the time for all the participants. We just want to run a quick poll with the participants, and my team will enable it now. As to the first poll, why? I mean, the massive question is see, currently everybody wants to be part of digital transformation, but is it happening at scale? Is it happening at all? Or not sure whether we should do it or not, or not sure whether we should even consider it. Everything is in their mind, right? People have different varied thought processes going on. So there's a poll on your screen, and would love to hear the audience view whether digital transformation is truly happening in your organization, or what you see as what's happening. One of the things which I have seen is everybody's excited. No questions about the excitement there. But the challenge is, will they be successful? Will it go down the drain where I'm not able to demonstrate the ROI for this? How do I measure it? All these are suspicions or tentativeness which various leaders are having. Even one of the leaders I spoke to a couple of hours back, he was saying, we want to build this, but how do I go and tell my management that what I'm having is not working well, and hence I need to build something? That's the intent of this poll. We'll close the poll now and understand how the results have been shown up. And as you can see, it is really happening, right? There is a definitive thought process that it has to be taken up, and it has to be taken up at scale, almost similar to what you said. But the challenge which they are facing majority of the times is they don't know the journey. And even if they got into the journey, because technology is changing so fast, business needs are changing so fast, the customers' expectations are also increasing. How to do course correction along the path in the digital transformation rather than dumping it off. So I'm sure you went through this similar thing as well, as to communicate and make people believe as to why this is important. So what was that first question, or what was the first conversation you had with your executives as to why such a super app should be built?
Okay. See, one is that, we want to be in financial powerhouse, right? So we want to offer, the best things to the customer. So the need for the, super app unquestionably was there, right? So in that angle, the convincing way, to build a super app was there. But how to build, where to build, how soon we will build it, and those things were the points for me to convince them. But the requirement of an super app existed before these apps started. So why I will say that is, PhonePe and Paytm were the major super apps available in the market, and then it's all bank apps. So bank apps had an apprehension to integrate with e-commerce services and with other players to offer insurance or with wealth management, etc. So banks were trying to shy away from that area, right? So NBFC is offering that, kind of having a feeling that we are not a bank, so we cannot offer banking things. So account aggregator took it to a different dimension. So that's the right time where we also started thinking in that angle. So everything fallen into right place for us. So we integrated with the account aggregator, doing so many things there. And the vacuum was also there in terms of, a large player, players came from e-commerce, players came from banks. So we are the largest NBFC, one of the largest NBFCs. So we had that opportunity, and we had the might, and this is a requirement to the market as well. So that's what fueled to build this app. Nice, and second, our vision was also to integrate all the services what is offered within ABC, and to give us a seamless financial super app to the customer. So that's the genesis of the whole idea.
Nice. No, I remember those conversations when we started to partner with you. It was not just a question of just convincing your management. It was a question of even convincing your team members, convincing your partners as to why this is useful. How did you go about selecting the technology? How did you go about selecting the partner to partner with and build this? And I know your belief system is very high, so that's why I was asking this question.
Yeah. See, if you see the multiple factors for a successful digital transformation, right? I mean, there comes, critical components, right? I mean, last we have said, technology is one of the very, very critical component, and then the leadership around the teams building that, and then the overall teams who are doing that. Second is automation of task, right? I mean, whether it can be an AI-based automation or a normal automation or in DevOps-based automation. And then the innovation culture, that's another key point, what we're bringing to the table. And then agility, right? I mean, if you're trying to take 2 years to build an app, right? I mean, there's no point. People will forget you. And the customers will move on to other apps, coming for a specific purpose, right? So agility is a key point there. And then data-driven decision making, which is also important. So the data platform around it also has to be in the same time. And then aligning with the business goals, right? I mean, so we have a strategic intent that we want to put in everything into a single app, and we want to launch it within this timeline, and bring digitalism to the overall management picture, and learn continuously. There's a continuous learning process be there, and then communicate effectively to all these LOB teams, saying that this is coming and what we expect from them, and what we expect from internal teams and our product teams, on all the ecosystem teams, etc. This is and then the new workforce culture of integrating all these things, for us surrounding the app. So those things are the critical point. So in this angle, we wanted to choose something that we want to build within 6 to 9 months. So we want to choose a kind of a very clear technology, what can transform this, build this, deliver this, and then a process around this, so that it is continuously built. And then the agility around the teams are also there, and then hiring experienced talent, and then having a clear vision to deliver this, right? The partners who are having who can deliver this. So these are the critical points on that. So that's why we chose technologies aligning to that. What technology can work for both kind of mobile side, Android, iOS, and web as well. And then technology which can transform. If there are any low code, no code possibilities there which can be used there, to start from the, say, example, if the product team is giving you a Figma, from there how can you convert that into an into a page quickly, right? Into no code platforms, etc., based upon the the platform what we chose, or the technology what we chose. So those things are the critical elements of the technology.
Oh, nice. And even
Balaji.
Please go ahead.
I was saying, because the low-code, no-code platform initially played a critical role. Then, after that, once the screens are stabilized, right, then it's all, the agility took over, and the innovation culture, whatever was there earlier, took over from there.
Right. And I'm sure you did a weighing activity about what are the various technologies. There are lots and lots of such technologies in the market which provide you low-code, no-code, easy integration, a lot of automation possibilities out of the box. And then you eventually choose the tech stack, right? Yeah. What tech stack did you go up with? And more, if you can provide me some quantifiable things about the size and scale, right? I'll tell you, Vinod, when you and me started having this conversation, and when GS Lab Gavs was selected to work with you, I was not a believer in itself, right? I was like, what is this man telling? He wants to build such a massive app in 6 months, 9 months. Will we be able to step up to his requirements? Will we be able to step up to his expectations and his organizational expectations, right? I even remember the conversations had with your CEO, where she mentioned that this one of the top 2 initiatives in her radar in terms of how they're viewing this as significantly important from a strategy standpoint as well. Correct. What tech stack did you believe in after the analysis to start, and give some quantitative representation of what actually this super app contained for the participants here to understand the scale, because that's the challenge which everybody's going through.
Okay. So if you see from that angle, right, I mean, the current screens, whatever we have in the app, the current production version, right, is close to 7,400 screens. Right, I mean, such a massive screens, I'm not sure, I mean, any other bank app or even, Paytm or PhonePe will have. But it's all close to 7,400 screens built in. And 42 plus production journeys is what we have.
Amazing.
So that's
Amazing.
the kind of scale. And then these things, are seamlessly deployed in Android and iOS. It's all deployed at the same time. So example, if Android goes to store and same time iOS also goes to store. So there's no delay between these two because it's single code performing for both the apps. So in that way, the DevOps powering this whole app, right? I mean, is close to mainly, some close to 300 plus pipelines across the 42 plus journeys is what we have. And every day we take close to some around 110 builds in different environments. So we have, dev, sit, UAT, UAT1, UAT2, pre-prod, prod, those kind of environments. We take close to 110 builds into the environment. So it's not that easy, if you deploy and build earlier without a DevOps, right? I mean, teams take 2 to 3 hours, and in a day they can deploy maximum of 10 to 15 builds, not more than that. And today we deploy close to 110 builds.
Right. And how did you plan for the scale of data and the number of customers who will come on board? What was your thought process there for scale?
To go to this point, right? I mean, I have to go back to a point which is called a key differentiator. Okay. So this is what was sold to the, to the committee who was invested into this app, right? So we said that technology will be a key differentiator into this whole, whole gamut of what we're building. So we had key differentiators and what's the benefit, what we will derive from there. Right? So example, it doesn't 5 to 6 points, whatever, I've told them during the time. The first point is micro apps powered modular app. See, every journey will be built as a micro app. Every journey will work as an independent app on its own. So example, if you want to deploy only the journey, it can be deployed as a separate app also. So example, your, credit score function or an personal loan function can work as an independent app if it is launched as an app. The customer can get only that. That is also possible in the whole design of the tech what we have done. So why it is extremely important, right? It is built in modular, born native to cloud, and it gives true omnichannel experience because it is working in Android, iOS, and it will also work for the apps like in your watch, etc., and then for the web as well, right? So the benefit here is the increased flexibility, reduce development cost, and faster updates. So example, if you want to launch, tinker this journey, right, tomorrow for a modification, right? So in that way, you can deploy only that specific journey instead of pushing the whole app to the store. That's how we're currently doing, right? So this is a key technological differentiator and a key differentiator in terms of how the app is built as well, right? And then the second point is the low-code, no-code platform. So we used an initial low-code, no-code platform from Google. So that platform actually helped us. So it initial 3,000 screens were built using that, right? I mean, I know, and Google trained you guys, and then you guys also had a grip on that, and then it created faster development environment, instant deployment into this Android, iOS, web screens, right? So that's another key differentiator. The third differentiator is a data platform. What we had, it powered the discovery, integration, and orchestration. So the benefit here is the ability to synthesize data from various sources, typically disparate sources, all coming in from different line of businesses, third party, customer, etc. All we are able to synthesize that and power it back to the same app, and to profile the customer in a different way and offer him as a differentiating factor. That's an important scale of how this data again given back to them. And the fourth important differentiator is the microservice as a service component. Everything here is powered by microservices. We run close to some 53 plus microservices for these 42 plus journeys. So everything is in microservice. So there is no linear component here. It's all microservice, completely born in cloud native, built in cloud native, and run on hyperscalers, typically on GCP as a platform is concerned. So it is fully containerized, highly available, elastically scalable, and reusable. what happens is that, say, example, if you want to scale tomorrow, if you're having a marketing event running for a specific journey, right? Say, example, a credit score or a loan or an investment, right? Only that can linearly scale.
Mm-hmm.
Only that can scale. So it will not impact the other journeys or the other micro apps around that. So this is how it is fully designed. So the containerized method, how we have implemented that, enables highly available, high availability and elastically scalability to that. So that's the microservices is built in fully cloud native methodology. And then the fifth point or the important point what I can say is AML capabilities on our data platform or the data fabric layer, what we call. It's mostly the state of art pipelines, and then the exposed via orchestration and CDP, CEP capabilities all enabled in the data platform. It enables the benefits what we get from there is real-time analytics, dashboarding, hyper-personalization, advanced marketing, and customer multi-experience features are all coming from this AML data fabric, to the app. If you see the graphs, whatever we get into this app, right? I mean, at least there are some, at least I remember around 15 to 16 high intensity graphs are there, where most of them are 3D based graphs, right? I mean, where data automatically modifies based upon your wealth structure or those kind of things. So in that way, data fabric was an important differentiator. And then the other differentiator is the full tooled DevSecOps, right? I mean, it enables, with high degree of automation, fault tolerance, and resilience to the entire environment. If that's why we are able to operate multi development environments, right? I mean, say the front-end developers working on an app or multiple journeys, right? I mean, there may be multiple journeys in different stages, right? One may be in design stage, other may be in development stage, other may be in testing stage, but integrations happen separately, right? If you see it from the approach angle, right, it's a multi-layered approach how it is there. And this high degree of automation going into all these things, it is full tooled DevSecOps, on GCP layer, and high degree of automation also built into that, and extremely fault tolerant pipelines are built. That's how we are able to achieve close to 110 to 120 deployments in a day on multiple environments without any issues. So these are the critical, key differentiators, and overall, all these things coming as in technology as a core differentiator to the platform what we built.
I can't imagine what you just said. 7,400 screens in such a short span of time. You made us believe in you totally, and the Google team did a fabulous job helping us come up to speed, working with all of us together as a team in figuring out what's the right way to deploy them, right way to scale them, all of that. Exactly. Did at any point in time, did you feel, what the hell am I doing? Should I give up? Did that cross your mind at all?
Yeah, there are situations, when we had to work extended hours, right? I mean, in this, when we build this kind of something which is extremely critical and market expecting things, right? I mean, you cannot give up. But there are frustrating situations when we had, times like continuous holidays come in, fatigue, coming to people, right? I mean, teams working, we also burning the teams for, 12 to 15 hours. Saturday, Sundays, we need to work out. Multiple demos happening to people saying this, change that, redo a few things, right? I mean, all these things are possible in these things, right? I mean, so those things are common. So that's why, when we build a team, right, we build a highly resilient team as well. The team absorbed this kind of shocks to the, as a shock absorber, and they are also, continue to work on the, whole journey. Actually, they are also aligned with the business goals. Technology is fully aligned with the business goals in this case. It's not only technology team; it's the technology partner, also aligned with this. So that made a great success to the whole roadmap what we have got.
Nice. On the same lines, every CIO asked me this question. Fantastic, Balaji. We'll select the technology, we'll select the platform, we'll select the technology partner. But what is in it for my team? The change management of your own team, right? Your own team members, the various ecosystems within your organization, you need to elevate them to adapt to this new digital world or the digital assets which you're building. How was the change management? What did you go about doing it?
Okay, so it's not only the change management, right? I mean, it starts with 2-3 points, right? I mean, only the agility, the culture of agility. Second is the innovation culture. Third is the change management. And fourth is the use of latest technologies. Fifth is how to align with business goals and stitch everything into a roadmap of what business wanted, right? I think the team, along with the new technologies, learned and delivered all these things seamlessly. But there is an initial hiccup to, and because everybody has to believe into what they want to do, right? So during that stage, we had a learning curve. Otherwise, I think it was very fully agile team. Our teams fostering agility and adaptability is not that easy, right? I mean, embracing an agile methodology, how you want to do, and then it's not that easy, right? It's a change over the time as well, because time is an essence there. And then outcome driven enterprise is also an important here, right? I mean, if there is no outcome, people are going to believe us, right? That's why it came in sprints. We had sprints, all done in sprints, and every sprint has to deliver. If the sprint, sometimes some sprints were upfront. Some, I think for the first cut of Go Store, we had around 6 sprints. Then to the final launch, we had another 4 sprints, right? I mean, so 6 sprints, 6 plus 4, 10 sprints into number of journeys, close to 37, 38 journeys when we launched to the market at April. We had, now we have built only from 5-6 journeys, right? I mean, apart from that, I mean, critical journeys, we revamped a few journeys. It's all a new culture, a new workforce culture was also kind of created there, right? I mean, the team embraced technology, team embraced the digital environment, how it's going to. They also understood our strategy getting converted into a real lifetime example of how this is coming in, and how innovation as a culture is imbibed into this team, right? And then fostering innovation was also done, but by both the ends, right? The vendor partner also did, from your side, and then we also did from our side, right? I mean, it's then the trainings happened from third party who gave the technology, like GCP, Google, all these things, and then monitoring the progress, was also a key challenge. We used to monitor because the day was extended, and then we had to see tomorrow morning, then we had to catch up. It's not that easy, right? I mean, analyzing progress regularly before we define our goals, and then measuring the goals before we embark to the next stage, right? I mean, it's all continuous journey there, for the whole period.
No wonder, you lived through this, and every time you actually set the bar high. It was never saying that, okay, we are done, let's take a breather. It was like, okay, you did this now you do it 4 times better. Then after you do that, then do it 5 times better. I think your vision and your belief was, I think, the biggest driver. And I've seen in the last 3-4 months, the questions have been, everybody wants to do digital transformation. That's a buzzword everywhere, right? And people are asking whether it's technology what is important, which is program management what is important. I just want to ask the participants in another poll to really understand what, according to them, do they believe that there is the components of what a digital transformation has, right? Once you believe in wanting to do a digital transformation, is technology the most important? Is change management the most important? Or forget everything, all that can be done. Getting the business requirements clearly, is that important? Is program management, as you rightly said, the ups and downs of the variations which happens during the journey, is that important? How do these fit in, and what do the participants feel? And one of the reasons why I brought up, even yesterday, we were having a conversation with one of our key customers, is the upfront process of defining the workflows, defining the requirements, figuring out and plans properly, identifying what exactly each constituent plays a role. Once that is clearly done, then they felt that the back end of actually getting it done gets well. There was another opinion about another customer who said that, I mean, I can put tons of people and money in upfront, but how does it really work? The user doesn't know what's going behind. So that's why I wanted to have this poll. We'll close the poll now, and we'll see what the participants who are in the call are also saying. And as I can expect, people were very, very clear that business requirements and change management really tops up the way people view it, followed closely by technology. And then, of course, last is program management. Thank you for the poll questions. Was there a belief at any point in time saying that, yeah, now this looks good, let's keep now pushing the bar higher in terms of the digital transformation? Because I'm sure you didn't anticipate 7,400 screens on day one, right? And
exactly.
And what created the path for you? What created to remove the barrier for you?
Okay. So before answering that question, I mean, I want to take a cue from the poll, right? I mean, poll had 4 points, right? I mean, I want to add a 5th point there, all
Please.
of the above. Okay, it's all of the above. It's not only
Right.
single point driving that, right? I mean, all the 4 points, whatever you had, are the key points, right? I mean, say example, if you're waiting for a business requirement to come, right, then your change management is not effective, right?
Right.
Then why agility? You will do agility, right? So why agile process methodologies will not be required there if you want to try fully linear, right? Or a waterfall, right? So that's why I wanted to add a fifth point there, all of the above, right? So every
Right.
element has to be in right proportion, in the right mix to kickstart this, right? So it's not only that, I mean, one single item can help there. So coming back to the question, Balaji, on how this was, one is that, I mean, the initial belief was typically that, I mean, I thought it's going to be around 800 to 1,000 screens, right? I mean, that's how I also thought. But after seeing the initial 1 or 2 journeys, right? I mean, what we have built in first 6 weeks as a first sprint delivery, it excited people, right? I mean, it works seamlessly. And that was also uploaded to the store as a pilot app. And the feedback, what we got from the market, from the internal teams, and the richness of the app, how it spans across, right? So people got excited. So they said they started pushing for rich screens, rich UI. The UI element became a differentiating factor, and how the finger swipe on the homepage screen and all these things, they started changing so many times in the first 6 months itself, right? I mean, so there are changes coming in, and once you start looking at a better picture, right, you will not know further how the picture will look like. So it becomes, once you set a benchmark, right, you don't know what you'll cross, right? I mean, that's how we started crossing benchmarks, right? Because I don't think, I mean, anybody would have moved an app to production, onto store within the first 6 to 8 weeks. We have done that, right? That had only some 3 journeys. With the 3 journeys, it moved on. Then we started adding journeys and after journeys, because the feedback came from the customer. Feedback came from the internal teams. The feedback came from the other teams as well, right? And the data, right? So all these things were fed back to this, and then the other journeys also started flowing in. So with this model, right, I mean, the anticipation of screens actually grew. Originally, I think they might have anticipated for close to some 2,000 to 2,500 for the whole journeys. Then I think it journeys also, there are branchings inside the journeys. I mean, if you go for a personal loan has again multiple categories. So every category is in separate journey there, right? So in that way, I think the scale have increased. And now with with the insurance things on the vehicle insurance has come in, so many new functionalities have come in. With the digital gold, digital silver, so many things have come in. So in that way, I think the screens will still increase. I think it's one of the rich super app available in terms of features, in terms of content, in terms of usability. You name it, I mean, it's all there.
Nice. No, I have it on my phone and I play around with that app in a very big way. One of the questions from the audience is very interesting. I think you answered it to some extent. Was primarily around the same thing, right? How do you take the organization forward, right? It's one thing to build a beautiful, nice, shining object, but then how do you make people to believe in that shining object? How do you make people understand that shining object is equally important for them, not just for one particular group, and how all of them adopt to it? You did touch upon this. Is there any other extensions you would like to share? How do you use change management to customers? Anything of that nature?
Yeah. So there are some 3-4 points I want to touch upon there. I mean, one is a clear vision. Say example, when you know that what you want to build, how you want to build, where you want to build, right? I mean, those points are addressed, right? You have a clear vision there. Once a clear vision is there, then we communicate effectively to the teams, right? This is what I want to do. This is how it is going to be done. Then that model sits there. Then we go on hire experienced talent, right? I mean, the experienced talent, in this case, it came from the partner, which is you. And then the objectives are set with all these 3 points, right? A clear vision and new culture workforce, effective communication, and an experienced talent. With all the 4 points, objectives are set for them, right? Then they start aligning to the business goals, right? Then there's a continuous learning happening within the teams, right? To effectively develop that. The new culture workforce, then they start moving. Once the knowledge is getting imbibed on them, right? The agility curve, innovation culture, both grows into a linear, into an curve at 45 degrees. One that starts moving that, right? We have measuring points where we assess the digital environment, digital culture, digital, how much progress what we have made. We monitor progress. So with that progress, right? I mean, we measure that to the objectives, whether we have aligned it to the goals or not. In that way, there's a continuous learning, continuous improvement happens with the change management and how effectively you do the change management. So with this, I think it's anything is possible. Is what I can say.
I understand. And for the audience here, if they have to use the app, what should they do? What app should they look for, and what should they do about? Just give some hint for them to download the app and all.
So they can search for ABCD Aditya Birla app in the Play Store and App Store, and they can download. And now with the new seamless login integrations, they don't even set up in. It can directly work with their phone's biometric.
Right. One thing which you talked very early in the conversation was that you built in your own UPI, your own payment module. What triggered that? Why did you want to go for your own payment module? What was the thought process there rather than using what is already available?
Okay. So, one is that, I mean, the learnings from Paytm and PhonePe, right? I mean, it's one of the key market driver and India growth story as well, right? I mean, payment is an ever growing, area in the country, and UPI payments, even, it's happening for 2 rupees, 3 rupees also, right?
Correct.
So, with that, right, the customer data is what we have. We enrich back the customer with the insights and offerings, what we are able to give to the customer. The customer makes a transaction with us, right? We will know, what kind of transaction he's making and how we can give an offer back to him, or what kind of, say example with the location offerings based on similar transactions, next best offerings. So many things can happen, when a payment happens in an ecosystem. So in this ecosystem, payment is one of the critical factor, which surrounds an ecosystem, right? So they get loyalty points, they get so many things, in the ecosystem. So in that way, payment is one of the key driver, irrespective of an environment, right? I mean, digital transactions are always on the rise, and then the spending in terms of note or coin is very less, and then with that, I mean, why somebody will not miss an opportunity to to integrate an UPI into this? Right? So that's the
based on what you did, and you achieved something really wonderful, right? Not just with Aditya Birla, even in your past engagements. If you have to redo the SuperApp, what would you fix? And what do you think people will take it as a learning from what you have actually gone through as a journey building the 7,400 screens?
So one thing, I mean, if you ask me, to redo this again, it is possible. But I mean, what I will fix it, right? I mean, one is, in this journey, I think I have overborne teams at some point of time, right? I mean, because the number of, the hours team has spent at certain point of time was a little higher. Because the fatigue growth happened, when the critical live dates come in, right? I mean, those kind of things is one thing which I want to fix it in the future, right? I mean, if there is a little kind of an agility and I don't know how to say that, but I mean, little agility in terms of how teams can absorb those things, right? I mean, come back to the to the team saying that this is what is possible in that, right? I mean, but constantly, if you see, right, I mean, when team A says that we had teams divided by journeys, divided by tech, divided by so many things, right? I mean, some teams do things faster, some teams do things little differently, because it's not difficult, because the way how technology is also impacting them, right? Because that's also new. It's not that, I mean, they worked on this earlier. Some people might have worked, some people it is new, but orchestrating everything, right? I mean, has an impact to these things. So one point, what I will try to do differently is that, I mean, spend some time giving to the team to gel well, and to absorb the digital culture, the working culture, right? And then voluntarily,
participate in the
innovation culture in the agile environment, so that they can, they will not overburn them, right? I mean,
Right.
see, if say example, if somebody is trying to deploy something, consider it's not getting deployed, you do it multiple times, you get a fatigue, right? But if it happens, right, I mean, immediately they move on to the next stage. But whatever has failed, right, you will go back, you will check the logs, you will try to redo. If you tried so many times, then you go to somebody, you ask him for help, right? I mean, it takes time, right? In the whole journey, right, it takes frustration to individuals, right? So those things, right, I mean, this may be critical for the team to deploy something, but the individual may be fixing something, right? I mean, so those things, right, I mean, in a team, it is strategically important that every single individual, every single person who's working on technology is important, and they are giving their bit to the overall delivery of the overall app. So the teams working on this should not be overborne is one thing which I'll be very, very clear in next things. I mean, upfront trainings to them, right? And constant coaching to them in terms of how this has to be absorbed, because so many things were done in a very, very faster time, right? So it's not that easy for them also to do it, right? I mean, if somebody, if you go for a buffet, right? I mean, if you see 100 items, right? But still people will be able to eat only 30% or 40% of items. They will not even try few things, right? This is exactly what we've done, right? I mean, people when people saw the screens, right, they might be thinking, oh my god, I mean, it's different, I mean, I should work on this, but they may be working on something, right? I mean, people may also try to get this kind of things. So those kind of things, I mean, we want to give a clear indication, clear training to them, spend more time with them, and make them understand how this has to be done. And then the culture of how change management is part of the whole DevOps cycle. Those kind of things we want to spend more time than learning on the go. We rather spend it upfront, and then learning on the go can also happen.
Right. Fantastic. No, well said. This is a lovely question. I'll read the question the way it is. How did you manage building such a huge app around various regulatory frameworks and regulatory platforms like UIDI, the other one, RBI, SEBI? Sometimes their UAT or sandbox environments tend to be slow developments due to stability issues. How did you figure it out, and how did you overcome this?
I mean, those things are real challenges. I mean, it's not only for us; it's for everybody who's building, on an UPI platform. They're also improving. I mean, because they also run multiple environments. They're also having UPI 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and it's not only their environment. It has a multiple, environments, like the bank also participating. Bank also have an environment. Then the connecting API between them, because bank also may have multiple environments, and then we as a partner connecting to that. So there are 3-4 parties involved. So I think this challenge is inevitable. It will still be there, but I think everybody is trying to improve there. I think next 2-3 years, I think everybody will have a clean sandbox for the partners to connect. That is inevitable.
Right. What's next, on this platform? I mean, now that are you saying it's done and dusted? That's it, or is that a ongoing improvement extension process which is still happening in the app? And how should people view it?
As a build of the app is already done and dusted, right? I mean, it is launched, right? So what will continuously happen is the improvement to the app, right? New features will come in, new offerings will come in, new UI UX will come in, right? Because the refresh is important, right? I mean, we cannot have the same UI UX into that. So refresh will happen. The mindset of people looking at the app will also change. People want different features. They want different things, right? I mean, they want offers. People, when we offer digital gold, right? People ask for digital silver. So we offer digital silver. Now digital silver is live, right? So many things are coming as per the customer's wish as well. We also conduct polls. We also conduct market research based upon the new products also come in.
Right. And is there a good analysis of the customer feedback and customers' perception and view of it?
We have, when we are one of the top ranked apps in the market, and then a lot of customers are using. I mean, in that angle, you can see number of customers downloaded there directly from the stores. I think it's more than 40 lakh customers. 50 lakh customers who has downloaded the app already, right? And then I think in that way, right? I mean, the usage you can see that, right? So in that way, customers like this app. I mean, if they're not liking this app, they'll not download, right? So They like this app. They like the features.
Correct.
So they also, like try to explore all the, financial powerhouse in one single environment.
Right.
So in that way, customer also likes this.
Very nice, very nice. No, 5 million plus customers downloading is not a small thing by any means. I totally get it. And I've used it as well. And I'm not saying this because you're here, but the user experience or the UI is so simple, so easy for people to operate. You don't have to do multiple clicks. You don't have to really go back and forth too many things. You don't have to do a lot of vertical
I
hurdles.
think
A lot of thought process
that
has been
credit
given to
give
them.
it to the research team, who did this, and then the product teams who constantly improved and built and seamless, touch points
Nice.
across that. Credit goes to them.
Nice. Before I wind this off, one last question.
Yeah.
Or maybe two parts to the one last question. Do you regret working on this app? And do you regret partnering with so many people? And what did you see as a benefit for you personally doing all this?
Okay. So I don't regret for both the points. Okay. So I see everything as a learning. And when I first, tried to convince myself to deliver this in a short time, I mean, I had an, crude, kind of belief. But to bring that crude belief to a real belief, right? I mean, it's all the partners who did it, right? I mean, especially GS Labs who built this app, right? I mean, it's all the partners. I mean, the credit goes to the partners, right? I mean, they stayed with us, right? If they're not stayed with us, this is impossible, right?
Right.
I think, I mean, in that way, there's a learning, right? I mean, working with large teams doing these kind of things, new things, there's a learning happening everywhere. I enjoyed that learning. I hope the team also would have enjoyed the learning on the other side. So they would have learned new exciting things, new ways of working, new methodology of delivering things, new way of combining things, in one place, right? I mean, so many technologies, so many factors changing, influencing deliveries. So it's a quick learning for everyone in a very, very short period. I mean, getting these kind of an opportunities once in a lifetime, I think I enjoyed thoroughly, is all I can say.
And absolutely. I enjoyed it personally as well working with you. And thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your belief in this partnership. It's been a phenomenal conversation, Vinod. I think you're a real example of business technology execution mindset with an innovation and doing well and progressing from forward. I think that's very critical for a digital transformation leader. And thank you for being the good partner with us and allowing us to participate with you in this important journey. And thank you for taking the time amidst your schedule to share your thoughts and views in the call today. Really happy to have had this conversation. Thank you to all the participants who participated and put their questions, as well as patiently hearing to this. Wherever they are, have a great day and a great evening or a great day ahead. And look forward to working with you more and more, Vinod, and taking this partnership to next levels. Sincere thanks for this time and sincere thanks for the partnership, sir, and the leadership.
Thank you, Balaji. Thank you for the opportunity to, share the experiences. It's wonderful working with your team and with GS Labs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening or a great day ahead wherever you are, and look forward to another exciting webinar pretty soon. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you.